And welcome to what we will call our second inaugural Guitar Tales with Dave Cohen. Nearly 4 years ago, we started this show, and I flubbed the word inaugural, and I got it right this time, which I'm very proud of. We are now broadcasting from the Noise Network Studios, which is a moniker that Scott and I came up with, I would guesstimate, in around 1979 or 1980 in one of our old bands. And we've really revamped the show. We're very excited about it. This is our inaugural show from the Noise Network Studios. We're very happy about that and grateful for it. The other thing I'd like to do is give a really sincere shout out to Scott Guitarist Engel. If you follow us on any form of social media, Scott has been so hard at work, and I want to thank him. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. What we've been doing, and really what Scott has been doing, he's been mining through about 60 hours of Guitar Tales and finding some really special moments we've had and putting them out in little clips on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on the Reels function, and all sorts of platforms like that. And we really do have nearly 4 years of beautiful memories of great musicians and other artists we've interviewed over the years. So that's a great part of the show now, and we'll be doing much more of that as we move forward. We're also very excited that we've created the Noise Network Studio. We have a different platform right now. We hope and think we'll have much better technology than we've had to give you the same content we always have given you. We hope I'll look a little less bad than I usually do and hopefully sound a little better. So we want to thank all of you for that. And for this special edition of Guitar Tales, we really want to thank Jake C. Miller of Unchained, Completely Unchained. Literally the #1 best Van Halen tribute band in the United States. And Jake, I truly want to thank you for coming with us tonight. I had such a great time on my YouTube dive watching all of your stuff and the great work you do. So thank you so much for coming on the show with us.
Really appreciate it.
You know, it's really amazing what you folks have created, and the timing of it is in a very sad way, very prescient. You know, we've always all loved Van Halen. I dug through my albums, and I put back there one of my albums. I think that one is, which one do I have back there? I have 5150 back there, which is the Van Hagar version. And somewhere I have a number of other Van Halen albums. But when Eddie passed, we added to our love of the band a level of nostalgia and even a deeper level of appreciation than I think we had ever had for Eddie and the rest of the band. And you have, in my view, the most important and critical job, because we all love Eddie so much, and you've got that gorgeous guitar there, and I've watched what you do, and you play his work beautifully.
Much. Yeah, losing Ed really a lot for not just myself, but for all of us that are fans, and everything he did for guitar. But now that there, so many people still want to enjoy that music and that time and remember those times. We've seen some much larger crowds over the last 2 years. I'm honored to be a part of it, and I really give it my all. To give everyone a great time and a great experience. We take our sound and our professionalism and the way we present ourselves in memory of Eddie Van Halen.
That's really beautiful. I know that you grew up, I think, in the Long Island area.
That's
or
correct.
New York, anyway. What's that?
What did you say?
Oh, you grew up in New York, in the Long Island area?
I grew up in Long Island, Dix Hills, New York. Yep.
And even though they were big everywhere, I saw that you had done work on a tribute album with a bunch of bands, and I was reading just the strength of your musical community out there. I know that you really personally were impacted by Eddie while he was alive, right?
Oh, absolutely. Van Halen changed my life. Eddie Van Halen's music captured me like his guitar is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Oh, that's really something. Do you remember how old you were and what the setting was when you heard your first ever Van Halen guitar playing?
I do. I remember it exactly, 14 or 15. Um, and I was at a friend's block, and his brother was noodling on his guitar, from what I can remember. And I had been at his guitar and a little GK, one of those GK amp, cool, like chorusy sound. And I remember walking by the room, and he was learning Eruption, but I hadn't known what it was until this very moment. And I heard him playing, and I can remember saying, what do you, and he goes, I'm learning this new track by this guy, Eddie Van Halen. And that was pretty much it.
That's really, truly something. It's an amazing thing. And, I've seen so many clips of Eddie playing it. We've spent a lot of time talking about Eruption on this show, and it's interesting because you are the exception to the near rule that we talked about, which is that for most bands, Eruption is something that won't necessarily work for a band that's just playing a lot of oldies and they just want to get people out on the dance floor to just dance and play around a bit. But what we've heard universally from the folks on the show is that when you play that, it's only the diehard Van Halen fans who want to hear it, and that's exactly who you are. I think that Scott has available a clip of you doing Eruption, and we can certainly put that on the screen right now. It would be really nice to watch. Scott, if you have that, that would be fantastic. All right. I have chills right now. like
awesome.
As far as I'm concerned, I just was watching Eddie. I mean, it's interesting.
Thanks.
I've watched it before tonight. Just in getting ready for our show, but to watch it with you here, it gave me chills. That's wonderful.
It gave me chills. That was really
I could see that.
cool. And, I can remember those moments when they're so times I feel like it's just happening all by itself, man. And those when it's just automatically doing it, I can't explain it, but it's helping me along the way, and it's really awesome.
You know what I'm picking up on right now that I'm really appreciating, that I wouldn't have necessarily expected, sort of the softness of your emotional connection to Eddie, because the persona, the Eddie persona, you have it down, and there is something to that that's sort of brash, just sort of having fun, and all the things that we all love about Eddie and the rest of the band, in either the Van Halen or the Van Hagar era. But to hear you talk, there is such authenticity and emotion that I'm hearing behind your connection to that guy we all love. I mean, and I hate to say it, but we all appreciated him more when he passed, because we realized what we lost as soon as he passed, although we all loved him before then anyway. So he really made an impact on you when you were just a teenager.
Yeah, absolutely. I looked up to him a lot. Just, that's something about that smile, and just I wanted to grow up and be like Eddie Van Halen. That was just the way it was. It happened kind of accidentally that I'm doing this. And a lot of it is pretty natural. I mean, I add a lot of my own taste to our shows, because I'm not Eddie Van Halen. I'm that you're seeing Van Halen in concert. That's why it is, I guess you could say, almost acting the part, because that's what people want to see. But I'm not like that all the time. Right now, 3-day run, 5 days on the road, a lot of driving, a lot of miles. It takes a little toll. And my voice is a little hoarse from all the singing. And I use these days to rest. Yeah, the connection is definitely been there for most of them.
But, I'm never one to take credit for things that I don't say. So I'm going to give Scott credit for this, and he's so dead on. So as I look at my screen here, Scott's able to feed me little comments, and he wrote the words "pure joy," and that's what I saw. There was a moment in that little clip we watched, and I think Scott nailed it. There was joy, and the other thing that I would add to Scott's comment is that I think your love of Eddie was inhabiting you when you played. I'm sure every time you play. I mean, that, like, those expressions on your face, I think what you are emoting are those feelings you accurately perceived that Eddie would feel when he played. Like those faces I see in you. I'm watching Eddie, like Scott's showing us some stills right now, and the rest of you guys too. That one of the things I saw that I really appreciate on your website, and I think if I remember correctly, it's all caps, is the word fun, right? Because, when we all look back, and it's a long time ago now. I mean, I forgot they started in the 70s.
Sure.
That's a very long time ago. So there's a lot of nostalgia here. But when we of various certain ages look back on how we feel about Van Halen, that free-spirited fun, that healthy irreverence that they all had. I mean, Eddie, forgetting what he did in his personal life, just on the stage, it was that sort of that trickster, naughty, devilish smile that we all loved so much. It's really something.
Yeah, it's we do a lot of outside amphitheaters and family-oriented shows where kids and people of all ages, all the way up until 60s, 70s, and even 80s, want to come and have fun. That's what it's all about. You're coming to a backyard barbecue party, and you're going to hang out with Dave. He's going to portray Dave real well, and we're going to make it feel like a Halen concert, and that's really why we're here. And there's so many people out there that appreciate it. As I said before, the crowds have been growing, and the venues are getting bigger and bigger, and the planes are getting bigger, and there's more guitars and amps and everything. Things just getting bigger and bigger, and I've been doing this for 16 years, playing in a Van Halen tribute band. So it's been a long run, and I'm glad to be here to be able to do it, and I meet so many cool people along the way because we travel all over the country.
It's one of the things that we love on our show is chatting with the folks who bring joy to others, to use that term again. A lot of the folks are in cover bands. You're not our first tribute band. We had a Beatles tribute band on the show in season 1, and we spent a lot of time talking about this. But one of my favorite things is the love that the musicians have in sort of pushing out the love, pushing out the nostalgia to the room, and then the people who have good, medium, or bad lives outside of whatever the venue is for that 2 hours or so, hour and a half, 90-minute show, whatever it is, you're bringing them to a certain place. And I think there's something extra special about a tribute band because you're making it more than just the great songs. You're also making it the actual band. I mean, it's uncanny. Your facial expressions, it's shocking to me. It's almost like, you see these videos where they have where they interpose a different actor's face onto someone else, and it gets a little altering. You're not doing that, but your face, you have Eddie's vibe in your face when you're playing.
Right. It's funny you should put it like that because when I first from my friend Pete, he actually did that. He put my face on a picture of Eddie, and he look, if we could just get you in this costume and that wig, you're gonna look just like Eddie. I'm telling tribute band, and that's where it started, right with that very thought. And I saw it, and I said, and I think about that time, tribute bands were really just starting to get going. They were been around a little bit, but in my area, but that's how it started with the picture over Ed's picture. Took off from there.
It's interesting. Like I was watching, because I watched a lot of your videos to get ready for today, and it was almost disorienting. And the clip we just watched, I mean, I got chills because I was watching you, obviously. We all were, but we were literally watching Eddie, and I heard it in the crowd. You were helping them relive that special moment. And
I remember, like I said, I remember that night clear as a bell, and I felt it in the air. I felt it in the vibe, in the audio. It was just a special night. And to get those poses took many years of watching video, rewinding on the VCR tapes. I mean, I was doing it back, learning how to jump like him, dress like him, act like him. Sounding his tones. I've got people that work closely with Ed that are helping me get to that level. I can sound just like them, and they're very much behind me. And throughout the show, I'd like to mention one of them being Jim Dunlop products and all the MXR pedals, especially because with his tone is just not there. So thank you very much, everyone at Jim Dunlop and my good buddy Bob.
That's something, I love when I don't expect certain things, and I didn't expect such a level of sort of soft humility because we've never met before, and those are wonderful comments. And before we leave the topic of the song Eruption, that's a topic that is near and dear to our hearts on this show. We've spent so much time talking about it. And I said earlier, you're kind of the exception to the rule. And Scott, if you have the clip handy, I'll show you. This is, I think, from 2019. We were talking about Eruption. Scott, if you could put that up, if you have it handy, that would be, I think, really interesting.
I always tell people, like, the big gig killer is playing Eruption.
Right.
By Van Halen at a gig. It's I call it the bathroom song.
Oh, that makes sense.
Nobody. Look, it's great. You can handle the song and play the song. But people they're not impressed anymore. Eddie does it better anyway.
Right.
So, why bother putting that out there? It just I feel it like drags the energy out of the room. It really does.
Well,
and you are literally the exception to that. I think, and I want to hear what you have to say. Yeah. Oh, you go first. You go first.
Comment on that. because there was about 1,000 cell phones videotaping it. So I don't know. You're at a Van Halen concert, of course, you're gonna play Eruption. It's part of the show.
And I think when you do it, I think when it's a band that's playing, Neil Diamond, and then they're going to play REO Speedwagon. I'm pulling these out of my butt. Journey, maybe a little Aerosmith. Then they're going to play some country line dance song, and that's wonderful, right? And that's a certain vibe. It might not be the right forum for Eruption because
correct. I get that.
But when you do it, holy crap! I mean, it's so different.
Though, at the concert, it's expected. People want to hear it. Everyone's waiting for it. Songs throughout the night that people just expect to hear. And Eruption is definitely one of them.
Right. It's funny. For your show, you literally have to play Eruption. You'll get yelled at if you don't play it, right?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. A lot of people want to hear it, and it's a good time to have a little fun and recreate that sound. Because there's something so cool in that song that the phaser and the delay and the sound just takes you to another. Even people that don't know Eruption still appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
listen to it. It's the first time they ever saw us. I don't even know who Van Halen is, and that song you played with the guitar, that was great. So it touches everyone, not just Van Halen lovers.
I remember clear as a bell, 1978. I saw Yes in the Round in Madison Square Garden. I was 14 years old, and I didn't know the clap then. And Steve Howe did the clap, probably a 12-minute song. And just like Eruption, not knowing the song, knowing the band, but not knowing the song, as a 14-year-old kid, I fell in love with the song. And sort of Mood for a Day in the Clap are his versions of Eruption, I suppose. But I could see that because it's a beautifully composed and played song when it's played properly. And I suppose when you play, I think it's a concert as opposed to setting people up for dancing.
Right.
But it's special, and I'm so glad we were able to play that clip because it really punctuates, I think, the love that you're putting into your performance of it, which I appreciate.
Much, yeah. There's so many of those nights where Eruption is the highlight of the evening. I have a lot of it on tape, and I can almost remember, if I watched it, I could remember what state, what venue, because those nights, like I said, that Gishel, and I always say that if I can go out and person attention, one person to say, "Wow, man, you really made my day," I really, or I'm having a tough time, and you guys just brought me back to a great. If I just heard that from one person at night, I felt like I do my job. But that's why we're out there, man. We're all about having fun and bringing the experience out, see it or never have, or still want to.
I know I keep harping on this, but I so appreciate it. I think when someone thinks of Van Halen, think of like the David Lee Roth era. You could bring it to the Sammy era too. There's a sort of level of we're a bunch of cocky partiers, right? And what I love the juxtaposition of having this conversation in this moment with a really nice guy who is bringing that persona, because you look like that cocky guy on stage, right? But the guy behind it, the guy who's working so hard to perform it as a person and to perform it as a guitar player properly, you're applying love and discipline and thoughtfulness to create that wonderfully lovable cocky persona. And I love the juxtaposition of the two. I think it's really nice.
There's one word you left out. I'm very passionate about what I do.
Passionate, did you say?
What
What was the word?
Passionate.
That's what I thought I heard. Yep.
Passionate
Yeah, you have a. Oh, go on.
about playing and the sound of our band, especially the sound of the guitar. Said I'm always chasing it to make it sound better and better and better. Just when I think I have it right, it just be dialed in hair tighter to make it sound even better. And I get to have with it. Working with different companies that know, worked with Ed, that can guide me in the right way to to get that sound, that guitar sound. It's not Van Halen, and a lot of people come to hear it sound just like that, and I don't think I leave anyone disappointed.
And that's a great segue because one of the things, we'd spent a lot of time talking about gear on this show, and we've had shows that were only about gear. We've had shows only about pedals, about guitar manufacturers, and I see you hugging that beautiful guitar. Did you build that? Was it built for you? Is it a Kramer like the ones Eddie played, or what is it?
Okay, so because this guitar is a replica of Ed's Frankie. Sola at Sola Custom Guitars. They've made me three and have given them to me only for me. They won't make it or sell it for exclusive one-offs. And it's all that I play. My three Sola have a Frankie and two 5150s. One is a relic and one is not. And I have another Frankie that I built maybe 13 or 14 years ago. So yeah, basically looking at a replica Frank. This one's my New York baby. She stays up here, and it does all the flyouts and drive outs from New York, and then the other guitars in Florida do and/or flyouts from that state.
That's really something. And we talked about it on the Beatles show we did. I think it was Chris Ramos was our guest for that. The attention to detail to precisely replicate the sound is no small task for you, I assume. Do you have a background in electronics or luthier type work, or is it something you learned along the way?
It totally was learned along the way. Just as Ed did, I tore everything I owned apart. I rewired it. I made it work in stereo. I figured it out somehow. I always hate tearing these things apart. Every time we go on tour.
I mean, you've got the look of the guitar, you've got the sound of the guitar. And by the way, Scott is good at correcting my mistakes. It was Chris Cologne who was our Beatles guest. But we have a connection to the original of that guitar on our show. So I think it was in season 2. We started recording during COVID. We had the great Henry Vaccaro on, who was friends with Eddie. And I don't know if you know of Henry, but Henry's the guy who developed that guitar with Eddie when it was owned by Kramer. So the Frankenstrat, I think that's what they called it, right? The Frankenstrat?
Right.
Yeah. So Henry Vaccaro was a builder in the Jersey area. And through just a strange series of meetings and connections, ended up buying Kramer guitar. He built the famous split neck aluminum guitar, which is one of the first guitars I ever owned. And he ends up on a plane and he meets Eddie's manager. And he worked with Eddie to actually build the very original version of that guitar. We'll send you the episode, but it's a wonderful story.
Cool.
And he's probably about 85 years old right now. But yeah. we have, on our show, just such a connection to Eddie and that guitar. And we were able to preserve for history Henry telling the story about how he and Eddie worked together. And they had such success with Kramer back, a million years ago when that happened.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's very cool stuff. It is. So let's segue a little bit. Let's talk about your life as a musician in this amazing tribute band, and sort of what happened to you personally, and professionally when Eddie passed, that I guess we'll start on the human level. So you're touring around, you're in a Van Halen tribute band, you're very successful, and talk to us about the impact upon you when Eddie passed.
Wow. So yeah, when he passed away, it was pretty sad. It was about 2 weeks of just, I can't even explain it. It was just awful. The weeks I ever had in my life. It just felt like we lost everything. The whole world just. So from that came the love of our fans. It was overwhelming. I remember the first weekend we played in Florida, passed away, and I was given so many gifts and so much love. It was so hard to play. I have so much memorabilia from those nights and those shows, fans that we have, because it's like we make friends along the way, and every city friends that are just so cool and so giving and so thoughtful, and that is what really got us through that time. It was so knowing that you could never see Eddie Van Halen play ever again, and it was a moment that at that point. And a lot of people are telling me that I have to continue to play so they have something to watch, I suppose, but to compare myself to Eddie Van Halen, I mean, that's just insane, and that's a crazy thought. But I'm going to make people happy and come and have a good time watching us play.
It was, I remember it so well because it was just, we had all been hearing the rumors that he wasn't well. But no one was quite sure what that meant, and there wasn't a lot coming out. And then when he passed, it was strange because there is such a thing as the rock and roll community, to whatever extent that means certain things to certain people. And in this really sad way, it brought us all together. And it was shocking. It was, even if we sort of thought that something like that was up, it was shocking. It was sad. And you said something that I was going to ask you anyway, which is that I would imagine you went from having this really wonderful, loving career in your tribute band to suddenly having on top of that, I would think, a level of solemn responsibility now.
Yeah, immediately brought up on me, and I didn't really know how to handle that at the time. Overwhelming, but I'm able to keep a level head out, and like I said, I try to stay focused, and I go out and give it my best to put on a great performance, and enjoys it, and we do our best to sound like Van Halen. I mean, about that, it's we love it so much. We love to go out there and play, and so many people love to come. It's a great experience, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Well, we're certainly happy to have you. Anytime we have someone on the show who takes the responsibility of pushing love and joy out to others, as a friend of ours, and that's what you're doing. The other thing, Van Halen is just everywhere these days. And, I'm sure you saw it when Wolfie played at the Taylor Hawkins Memorial. There's a few great clips from that. But Wolfie, oh my God, I saw Eddie and him. I mean, I had goosebumps. I almost had tears in my eyes watching him play, and he had that same look of love and joy on his face that you get when you play Eddie's stuff. What were your thoughts when you saw? I'm sure you saw it.
I thought the same thing. We've all watched Wolfie grow-ups, you know. So what he's most likely capable of doing, and now with his new record and the tours with Van Halen at the Taylor Hawkins tribute, you know, we know now he's one of the most brilliant bass, drums, sing, guitar. He's very talented, and you know, I wish him the best. I love his record. To me, that he doesn't go out and do Van Halen, that's fine with me. If he doesn't want to do that, what he's doing, I think it's great. In fact, I'd love to go see him play. I haven't been able to, but yeah, I thought at the tribute show playing the guitar, as a,
It's really something, you know, that's special, and your connection to these things that are going on in sort of their world, which overlaps with your world, you know, I think is super special. But what I keep coming back to is that you're literally the guy. You know, you stand in a different place than many guitar players who are, you know, maybe just as technically talented as Eddie, but it's different. You know, you are literally the number one tribute band Eddie Van Halen guitar player in the country right now, maybe the world. And as we all miss Eddie, love Eddie, appreciate Eddie, you're the one who, on a live basis, is keeping that alive. You know, I could put my album on, I could go on Apple Music and pick any Van Halen song I want to hear. But in terms of seeing that band live, your iteration of it is as close as any of us can get over any other band in the country. And I love how respectful you are of that the responsibility you have and the beneficiary you are of getting to do that.
yeah. Again, it was like nothing I ever desired or dreamed about. Unfortunately, this is where we are with it. You know, Halen here with us, that you know, me being that guy to take over. I appreciate it. I really do. I go out and I do my best. That's all I can do. I'm working with some great people that way to get to that level. Like I said, we mentioned solo guitars. I use them exclusively. Floyd Rose, Adam, at I mean, the list goes on and on. In-tune guitar picks, GHS strings, take great care of me over there. 4-star wire. Believe in the same thing I do, and they all love Van Halen and Eddie Van Halen. They all aim success. You know, that we hope for. All of my sponsors, it's just not possible. They really, truly help me along. I've been able to speak to some really great people that were really close with Van, and they've given me such amazing information and just a little more deeper about it, you know, and get closer and closer. You know, that's what I love, and I'm always going to chase it, and I'm probably always going to do it until I can't.
Wow. You know, that was so organically, eloquently, beautifully stated. The level of gratitude you have for your lot in life is really, it's special. And you know, we at Guitar Tales appreciate when people come on and just, you know, they're giving the joy, they're appreciating it, and the fact that you're going out and giving thanks to all the people who helped put you in that position, I think, is a special thing. As we wrap up the show right now, you know, we have your website. If you look at the ticker at the bottom of the screen, we've got completelyunchainedrocks.com. Give us just a sense as to where you'll be playing in the coming months.
So this weekend we're going to be up in Massachusetts, the following week on. I think the weekend after that, we're back in Florida. After that, we go to, I think, Wisconsin, Chicago. So we're all over. Definitely going to be if we're coming to a city near you, because I think this is something you should definitely have a great time. You know, we usually try to take some photos and sell some merchandise and givers and stuff like that at the end of the night. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing all over the country.
Well, fantastic. Well, Jake C. Miller, Scott Guitar, Mrs. Stengel, and I want to thank you so much for doing the show tonight. We're honored to have you with us. It's a special time for Van Halen friends everywhere. And I also want to take this opportunity as we round out the show to thank our new sponsor, Charles Larita, who was a guest on Guitar Tales in season 1. I am in love with his guitar playing. He is a fantastic guitar player. I actually have one of his songs on my playlist when I go running. He is the owner and proprietor for Mischief Studios in Pennington, New Jersey. I know exactly where it is. It's in a great location. And Mischief Studios offers guitar repair, guitar lessons, guitar sales. It's a beautiful location. And I'll tell you what, we've talked to Charles a lot, and I've gotten to know him over the last few years. He's a wonderful human being. He is ridiculously creative and talented, and he surrounds himself with amazing musicians. So if you have a guitar that needs repair, if you have a guitar that needs a better player and you want to become that better player, go see Charles. If you want to record a wonderful song, go to his studio. It's really great. It's a beautiful location right near Princeton. We'll give you all the information for Mischief Studios. It'll be worth your while. And as we round out the show today, again, Jake C. Miller, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you for more great shows and music on Guitar Tales.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was a blast.
Thank you. Wait, let me get my thumb centered. There we go. Whoop, there we are.